ways through Ghana, with billions of cedis reportedly siphoned from the public purse. The Fourth Estate report. Now, the national organizer of the NPP, Henry Nana Boakye, he criticized the West African Media Foundation and its investigative platform, the Fourth Estate. He accused them of engaging in fear and panic journalism over the expose on the alleged ghost names in the national. Speaking with Kweku Krobia Asante, the program manager of Independent Journalism Project of the Media Foundation for West Africa. In fact, he was very much involved in this expose of ghost names at the National Service Secretariat. We'll be touching base with him shortly. Also, we'll be speaking with Felix Jemfi, the Acting Director General of the National Service Authority right now. And then we'll have a conversation with Gideon Osei. He's a former National President of the National Service Personnel Association. I understand we have Gideon Osei, who's joining us right now. Gideon, good to have you on the lines. You are a former National President of the National Service Personnel Association, NASPA. During your tenure, how much of a challenge was this ghost name saga?
Oh, okay. So good morning, Johnny. And I believe you are doing good.
I'm well, Gideon. My name is Noble Crosby-Annan.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Because the truth is that I'm not watching online. So please, I'm sorry. Okay, so please, can you go over your question for me?
What I'm asking is, you have become a president of the National Service Personnel Association before. You were a former president of the association. When you were president of the association, was ghost names a big deal there?
Oh, okay. So thank you. So please, before issue with ghost names, it's a bit dicey. Because there is a gap between NASPA and National Service Scheme.
True.
The authority is an administrative administrative body. They are there to do the framework, the legal framework, and other administrative purposes. And their association is also there to spearhead or to ensure the general well-being of National Service personnel. So, and before National Service post-service personnel to be legally accepted as National Service personnel, there is a three dialect we say. NASPA works with National Service personnel posted at post. But before PIN code and issues with ghost names had to do with PIN code registration. Before I was elected as president, I was a student. And every year, various accredited, the word accredited is here, accredited educational institutions submit database of students to National Service for them to be enrolled or to activate their PINs for them to be accepted legally as National Service personnel, of which maybe during 2022 I was part of this. So if there is an issue of ghost names, it will be done there, of which you being the NASPA president, you won't be aware of that because then you were on campus. And there is a boundary between NASPA, as I said earlier, and the National Service Authority. They are in charge of database, and we are in charge of issues pertaining to National Service personnel, their allowances and certificate issues. That's our main challenge. And to also dive into the issue circulating, the reason why I'm using the word circulating is as stated by the president, he says it must be investigated. So it's a claim. It's yet to be investigated and confirmed. So I can see it is centered on ghost names, as I stated earlier. And the publication claims figures submitted to Parliament for budgetary purposes are different from what is available to the public. That's what the Fourth Estate is saying. And when during my tenure as the NASPA president, what the little I learned from National Services, they do 3 cohorts of posting. One is for the general posting for the university graduates. Another one too is the nursing students. Another one is the teacher training. So once investigation is still on, I want to ask. I've been asking myself this question: is the database or the figure that was released by Fourth Estate centered on general postings only, or it comprises of these 3 cohorts? if it comprises of these three cohorts and we have this deficit or this surplus, then it means there is a very challenge that the country is facing, of which no one is above the law and must be investigated and dealt properly.
Gideon, when you were president of NASPA, when it comes to payment of the people you work with, and I'm talking about members of your association, tell us, how is that done? What are the biometrics involved, and how are you receiving your allowances?
Okay, so in regards to payments of allowance, National Service, during my tenure, National Service was using e-switch to pay National Service personnel. Mm-hmm. So the stakeholders involved in these payments is the Bank of Ghana controller and GIFs. That's GIFs paid through the e-switch. So before service personnel will be paid, you must submit your monthly evaluation form for it to be recorded that you were at post. Then the district directors will submit your details to the region. The region will also submit to national. Then the headquarters will submit these details to controller and gifts to pay. This was the channel of payment.
Was there
until they migrated to Ghana Pay.
Was there any loophole you observed in the payment structure of the allowances?
Okay, as I stated earlier, there's we are talking about two different things here. Mm-hmm. NASPA, as I stated earlier, is there to ensure the welfare of NSPs,
yes,
seeing that the allowances have been paid, and the scheme itself is the administrative body.
That's true.
So, if there is a loophole, I, being the NASPA president, won't know. So the best place to identify this is GIFs, because they were there to do the payment. And anytime maybe controller or Bank of Ghana send money, then the best place, the money is sent into the scheme's account.
Gideon, what I want to find from you is that, from where you sit as a former president of the association, when you were president of NASPA, did you have cause to be concerned whether or not there were allowances challenges when it comes to maybe delays in the allowances? One of your members would go and his or her payments would be disrupted without knowing exactly where the problem was coming from. Were there concerns like that?
Yes, the truth is there were a lot of concerns about delay in allowance, of which I myself was a victim. When we started national service, it took like 3 months before our allowances came. So I did further investigation into the matter, why the money has delayed, and I was told service personnel details must be authenticated to clear those who tried to maneuver their way into the system.
Essentially, ghost names.
So no, not specifically ghost names. We have some people who tried to maybe put in fake identity, so the system will put you on band.
How is the fake identity different from the ghost names? Educators.
Okay, so my understanding to ghost names here is people who were added onto the system, of which they are not service personnel, and the fake identity is also, I will not call it fake identity, I'll call it mismatch identity. Some people used maybe Ghana card to do the registration, but maybe when the details, or there will be a slight change in date of birth. What the school submitted to the scheme was maybe 1996,
right?
But maybe the person original date of birth on his or her Ghana card is 1995. The system will deny that person. So this was one reason why the allowance delayed. That was what I was told. And secondly, when they was about to increase the allowance, it also delayed. Increasing the allowance from 559 to 7152. It delayed like 3 months before the money was paid. So these were the two major challenges and why it happened.
Gideon, thank you. Gideon is a former president of the National Service Personnel Association, speaking with us though on how his experience was like when he was president of the association, explaining to us the processes of payments for these national service personnel. Granted that they may not be the administrative body, they may not get to know where the concerns are coming from, but when it comes to the payment structure of national service personnel, he explained to us the rigorous process that goes through, and possibly you have an idea how it could be. 1,885 suspected ghost names. It represents the difference between the actual number of active personnel and the payroll data submitted by the previous management of the National Service Authority. According to the latest findings, there are currently 98,145 active personnel, a stark contrast to the 180,030 names presented for allowance payment in 2024. And that, if you like, is synonymous to the revelations made by the Fourth Estate. And the Fourth Estate work was done, and a member of the Fourth Estate, Kweku Krobi Asante, Program Manager, the Independent Journalism Project Media Foundation for West Africa. Kweku, good to have you on the lines. Thank you so much for your time with us. When you got to know that this number, over 81,000 ghost names, exists, did it come as a surprise to you?
Well, thank you, Noble, and my regards to all your listeners. Not at all. It didn't come to us as a surprise. It's the least of our surprises, because already our work had indicated that there are ghost names in the database of the National Service Authority. And even we as journalists who are not clothed with any power, so to say, who just using public records and some other inside whistleblowers who were able to help us, we could do our own analysis and find that in some places, there were 29,000 plus names, 49,000, 36,000, 59,000. And so it didn't come to us as a surprise when the government, the Minister of Finance, called for a head count from the payroll side, and they saw 81,000 more names in there.
With this revelation from the presidency or the government, and coming on the back of your expose as well, going forward, what recommendations did you make, or what other findings? Let's start with that. What other findings did you get to know aside the ghost names?
Well, beyond the ghost names, the numbers of which we have put out, that has been confirmed by the government itself, and this time from the Minister of Finance doing a head count. And Noble, if you allow me, let me just go into this one again, because we have seen a statement, purported to come from the former directors of the National Service Authority, challenging some of the data we have put out. Right. So they say that the data that is out there, we did not take into account nursing training, teacher training, service personnel that were deployed, and for that matter, what we were doing is a deception or whatever they want to call it. Look, we are journalists. We work with public records data, and this is a public intellectual work that we're doing. And anybody who wants to challenge our figures, it is only fair that they also come and put their figures. And then we can begin to question, to what end, are you challenging these figures that we have put out? That you don't have ghost names in your database, or is it that the ghost names that we are forecasting or estimating to be in there is lesser? They should give us the credit, come out and show us the data from their side, and therefore we could have a conversation. Particularly when you have a member of parliament on there who has powers, to do all these things, and then the former director, just the immediate former director, if indeed you are committed to this conversation and not just trying to deceive the public to say that we have done a shoddy work. Come out with your own data and let us look at it. Now, the other things we found were fake index numbers that had been generated or put into the system. I must explain that the system of the National Service Authority works in a way that the public universities and some of the tertiary institutions submit their own data, verified, people who have completed their programs. So the universities submit their index numbers and names so that they could be enrolled into the NSS system. But the NSA has an option where people who did not have the opportunity to do their service in a given year.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I completed this year or last year. Let's say I completed last year and I'm supposed to do my national service. But somehow I'm supposed to travel, again, admission for a master's program. I got a job, or something came up that I couldn't do my national service. At any time, I am given the opportunity to return to come and do the national service.
Right.
Those are independent, or as they will call it, voluntary people who walk in to do the national service. In which case, the officials of the National Service Authority will have the opportunity to impute the data or to collect data from these people outside what the universities provide them. Now, what we found with these names, particularly for the 2022-2023 service year, were a lot of tens of thousands of names with fake index numbers, apportioned to various universities. You have University of Winnipeg being in there, KNUST being in there, UCC being in there, UDS being in there. Almost all the public universities and tertiary institutions are in there, right? With the exception of Legon that we did not find, UPSA, Valley View, Dambai College of Education, Tamale Technical University, and many others were in there. Then again, we found multiples of names, being in there. Like one particular name could be repeated like 226 times, some 100 times, some 50, some 75, some 120 times popping up. Same name, same program, same university, same year completed, but they give them different index numbers.
Right.
And different NSS numbers so that at the point of payment, these people could be paid differently. So, for instance, a name we found was Abubakar Husseini. He's supposed to be a 59-year-old man, a year shy of going to retirement. And he's supposedly did BA Integrated Studies at the University of Development Studies, right? But when we go into it, we see 226 times Abubakar Husseini, or 226 Abubakar Husseinis in the NSA database. They have the same name, the same program, same university in the same year, right? Then we have 80 and 90-year-olds being in the system, 93-year-olds, Nematu Salifu, with Abdullah, Muhammad Ali, all those people being in there. And then we have fake IDs and manipulated biometric data. Now, I am going to go into, Noble, you may have to give me some time because this is about the first time we are speaking to the issues of the directors who have jointly issued a statement, and I've seen Henry Nanabuachi Nanabi, who used to be a deputy director at the NSA, also granting interviews, raising some concerns, right? They say that in their statement, they say that, well, this data that we are calling of people using fake IDs, 90-year-olds, 80-year-olds, multiple names, popping up in the list are just data entry errors, right? And we find it to be extremely ridiculous for them to make that claim. I am going to pull something up for you and permit me time to do this. Somewhere in 2022, right, the NSC, then headed by Honorable Osei Entry, the just immediate past Director General of the NSA, on their website, and I'm going to read, said that they have procured a new app called the Metric app that uses artificial intelligence security features. It uses facial recognition technologies and biometric functionalities that is able to block people from registering onto the NSA database.
So there was a mechanism to check this?
Yes, using the Ghana card. And I'm going to read just an extra. This is on the NSA website. The title is National Service Scheme Saves 112 million Ghana cedis. Vice President Baumia shocked. February 1st, 2022. And this here is an extra. They say, the executive director of the scheme, Honorable Osei Entry, upon assumption of office in September 2021, introduced an artificial intelligence security feature known as the Metric app with the sole aim of speeding up national service registration process and to also eliminate impersonation. This app scans faces of prospective service persons and matches them with their Ghana card for authentication and validation. Though 113,254 people had enrolled for national service, some 14,000 of this figure could not be verified and registered. Without this app, these people would have gone through registration and paid monthly service allowance, though they may not exist. They were blocked at the gate, so they could not get the chance to enter and get registered. And I'm going to emphasize, they were blocked at the gate.
Right.
So they could not get the chance to enter and get registered.
Krabia, I'd like for you to hold on for me, and let me bring in Felix Gyamfi, the Acting Director General of the National Service Authority. Felix, thank you so much for making time for us this morning. Since you've been at post, what findings have you made in relation to ghost names? What did you go and meet?
Good morning. It's a difficult when the word ghost names come in, because what we have sought to do, we've done, is that we, upon the instruction of the Minister of Finance and the Controlling Accountant General, we sought to get names of people who are actually doing their service at our, and then put them together, and then that came to 98,000. And that is short of the 128,000 or 168,000 that has been presented for payments from Controlling Accountant General at different months leading to January 2025.
So when you experienced these, when you went to the office and you came across these concerns, coming on the back of the latest directive for investigation by the president, what best approach could be adapted to deal with this challenge, Felix?
No, there are existing pathways to safeguard taxpayers' money. If you are the leader of the scheme or the authority and you decide to apply these safeguards, we will not have these discussions that we're having. So there are several pathways that come into mind, and which the consultant had written to the former Director General about to avoid the pitfalls that has obviously become clear. One of them is that all students who are graduating and would like to be enrolled in the National Service Scheme, the authority, should be verified and validated through a Ghana card system. That did not happen. So you find a way that between 2021 to 2023, 2024, there were
Felix, can you hear me? Hello, Felix, can you hear me?
Universities. Yes, I can.
Sorry, we lost you for a moment. Please make your point again.
Right. So there were several different pathways that should have been applied to safeguard taxpayers' money. One of the pathways is to use Ghana Card to verify all prospective national service persons. And that was not done, if you look at it. So tens of thousands of people entered the payroll without going through validation through the Ghana Card. There were people who were coming through, in quotes, private universities, which did not have accreditation from the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. That was a problem. There are people who were older, and then you could suspect that they were knowledgeable for national service, they were doing it. The universities which did not have accreditation at all to have enrolled their graduates into the National Service Program, that happened. So when you look at it, if the safeguards, what I just mentioned, were followed, we would not have had these problems at all.
Is there any indication that the safeguards you have mentioned that were not followed, as you say, can be followed this time around, so that in a future administration, for instance, we don't come across this ghost name saga?
Yesterday, we put out a list of about 6,000 people, about people who are in the current year, who have not completed their national service registrations yet, because to us, they've not used Ghana Card. We have given them up to the 19th of March. If they do not come to complete their service registration with Ghana card, we'll take them off. So the safeguards have already kicked in. We have written to GTEC with a list of about 30 institutions, colleges, and affiliates we suspect are not accredited by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. If they get back to us and then they said that these universities, or well, in quotes, universities, are not accredited with them as we speak, we are going to take them off our list completely. And graduates from these universities will not do national service with us. If you were completing university and you didn't do your national service this year, we would require from you to go to GTEC and your university, especially writing to us to say that, yes, you finished university with us. Otherwise, we will not take it by word of mouth or through your own letter that you are eligible for national service, but you didn't do it and you want to do it this year. So all the safeguards are going to come in. We did a very short exercise with a current batch of teachers who are about to do their national service. The initial numbers that came in were 13,000. All right, and then we said that for all those, the list coming, if the particular College of Education did not give a cover letter expressly saying that we are sending these people to do national service, for all that list, we're going to take them off our list. Immediately, we took 4,000 off.
Right.
Then we went down further and said that, okay, if the numbers put in the letter does not correlate with the numbers that actually came in the pen drive, that we took a few hundreds off. Even for those that we have approved, there are about 21 colleges of education that have expired accreditation as we speak. We have put about 4,000 of them on hold until GTEC give us the approval for their registrations. So at all levels, these safeguards have kicked in, and then we are using them to work. As I speak to you this morning, out of the 9,000, only about 5,000 people have fully registered.
Right.
And we have 2 weeks. My suspicion is that in the end, we might not even get to 6,000, because if there were clear people were there who were willing to do their national service and all that, the complaints have started. And so far, I've not heard anything from them. So if you are a graduate from a teacher, College of Education, and then you have not registered, hear me, you have to follow or go back to your college and follow these safeguards so that we would have ghost-free payroll at the National Service Authority.
Felix, I'd like for you to hold on for me. You're on the line with Kweku Krobia from the 4th Estate. Kweku, if you were listening to Felix, in your findings as well, these measures that Felix has outlined as means to check these things so they don't happen, does it work in your opinion?
I think that I can appreciate the point by Felix that the Ghana card registration that was said to have been used in the so-called metric app by the NSA did not really work. And indeed, our findings show that if indeed it worked, they wouldn't have had a lot of the names, the ghost names we are calling out in there. And so from that starting point, it would be great to tighten it up from there to ensure that people cannot even go into the system to register for others to come and say it was just data entry errors. It beats basic logic that if you build a system, an app, let's say you're even making a payment for something you are buying online, and the system say it is only a Visa or MasterCard that will work. No matter what you do to it, the system would reject it, and so you cannot be successful. You see? But what we have seen was that despite all the euphoria about the Ghana card stopping ghost names and all that, there were a lot of names like that without the Ghana card. I think that is the starting point. The other point he makes, Felix makes, are very contextual internal arrangements, which that it's good, but needs to be looked at. I think that the whole system, the softwares and programs that they have in there, looking at this whole registration process, should be re-looked at. Really, the point of people confirming payments, like the pre-approvals, for instance, should also be looked at. Our investigations have shown, and this is somebody who's on record, a regional director from Western Region and the Western North spoke to us. Of course, we also got a recording from a meeting that he consistently raised concerns that anytime he goes into the pre-approval systems, 995 names will be approved in one region, 200 plus names will be approved in another region, where ideally it should be 0-0 because he has the authority to say you are being paid or you are not being paid. I think that all these matters need to be taken into consideration. Again, our point is that we should have a real look at the whole entire system, the whole so-called security, artificial intelligence security, and facial recognition technologies that the immediate past management or officials, gloated about. They should all be re-looked at, and possibly if they need to be changed, it must be changed so that we can get a fully working National Service Authority.
Kweku, thank you. And if I still have Felix Jemfi, the acting Director General of the National Service Authority, here with me. Felix, if you're still on the line with me, talk to me about this. So, going forward, how do we now resolve the concerns about delays in payments and people who are still using the eSwitch card, because we're already getting some feedback on our socials?
Right, sir. Yesterday I was on a phone trial with eSwitch people, and then they have duly apologized for the delay. I think as we were going to bed, payments had rolled out, and I'm sure over 13,000 people who are paid through the eSwitch have their funds on their cards this morning. The president spoke about the delays of allowances during his campaign, and then, true to his words, immediately ordered for all areas of service person to be cleared all the way from August. I have no doubt that if we present our actuals at the end of every month, no month will go by without paying national service on time. Kweku spoke about a certain situation as if the system had problem. Of course, systems have problems, and when they come, if there's a commitment to fix it, you fix it. But for those issues that happen, people created bypasses. So that whenever there's a situation, for example, in the Nkwanta area, when there was recently there was a conflict in the area, we had about 90 service persons in Nkwanta North District. Immediately, the thing was, okay, because people could not come to the district's office to be verified and paid, what were we going to do? So at that point, I'm sure the decision they would have taken at the time is that, you know what, let's create a bypass and let's put their system and pay them. For those, they will be pre-approved because somebody has given authorization from the head office. So instead of these becoming one-off situations, it became sort of a normal practice that were happening in far too many places and far too often. And these are some of the pathways that lead to the problems that we find ourselves in now. I have given my commitment to all service persons, to all Ghanaians, that will serve with integrity, and things of ghost names will be a thing of the past. What is even going forward, what should be concerned about is people who take money from students across the universities who have set themselves up as businessmen, and they'll come to you and say, you know what, if you give me 400 Ghana cedis or 2,000, you go to Nestle, you go to Cocoa Board, you go to all these allegedly ill-listed companies. That is something that we would have to tackle as well. Because it's this sort of behavior that leads to the unavailability of hospital beds until you have paid some money. A doctor is not there until you have paid some money. So right away from our young graduates, from the student doing national service, nobody should pay any money to anyone to get either Cocoa Board or Cadbury or anywhere. It is something that we frown on, and we are not going to allow that to happen in any way.
Felix, thank you so much for your time with us. Felix James is the Acting Director General of the National Service Authority, but earlier was Kweku Krobia with Media Foundation for West Africa.